morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at a new Aggron card. And I'm going to be a little bit salty about this one, because I was waiting for reveals, and I was waiting for reveals, and I was waiting for reveals, and no reveals came. So I uploaded my Palkia GX video. And then the Pokemon Company over in Japan went and revealed these cards. They are messing with me, ladies and gentlemen. They are messing with me. The good news is this new Aggron looks kind of good. Now, we've got a very beefy Pokemon to start off with. 160 HP is high. Having said that, we saw that on stuff like Dragonite in the Sun and Moon base set, so 160 really is kind of your base for Stage 2s at the moment. I'll be honest with you, I expected more from Aggron. I mean, really, the only way I'd forgive this is if there was some kind of ability that stopped it being KO'd. But what are the chances of that? Also worth noting, the last two Aggron did have 170 HP. Also somewhat disappointing is it has a retreat cost of 3, which puts it out of range of using buff padding to get an extra 50 HP. And again, the last two Aggron had retreat costs of 4. So they are, and we know this has to be a deliberate choice, right? They are deliberately nerfing Aggron. They have deliberately taken away 10 HP and a retreat cost. Yes, you can still use Big Charm to give yourself an extra 30 HP, but it's not the same. This with a Big Charm has 190 HP. One of the other Aggron with a buff padding has 220 HP. There's a big difference between the two. Hey ho. Now, the good news is we do have a resistance to grass, which is quite nice. Maybe if Rillaboom decks become really good. Weakness to fire I'm not loving because welded decks are everywhere. Welded decks are really good, etc. We're not loving this. I mean, the only way I'd forgive this weakness is if there was some kind of ability that stopped you getting one hit KO'd. And to be fair, being a metal Pokemon is good. You're not hitting anything relevant for weakness because anything you might have been hitting for weakness has been well and truly scared off by Zacian. But we do have Metal Saucer to accelerate energy to you. And we've got Metal Frying Pan to take away your weakness and reduce damage done to you by 30. So it ain't too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't too bad. But what does it do? Well, as some of my heavy-handed hints may have led you to believe, it's got the ability Sturdy. If this Pokemon has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack, this Pokemon is not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead. Oh. And this is why. This is why they've made sure that it can't use buff padding. This is why they've reduced its HP by 10. This is very deliberate. Go through the cards we've seen recently. Generally speaking, if there are two copies of an evolving Pokemon and one's got a really nice ability, you will find that the other one has more HP. So, yes, they've nerfed it down a bit in terms of HP and retreat cost, but they've given it Sturdy. And this is good. This is really good. Because it doesn't matter how big this Pokemon is, it's not going down in one hit. Reshiram and Charizard comes along. You haven't taken away your weakness. They come and hit you for 460 damage. Bearing in mind it should get a KO without weakness. You survive with 10 HP remaining. And alright, it's only 10 HP, but you know what? It's 10 HP. You survive. You keep going. That's good. We like this. Now, there is a word of caution here. Donphan has this ability. We do have a Donphan, the one that came around in Lost Thunder, that literally has this ability and hasn't seen very much play at all. And I love me some Donphan. I want Donphan to be amazing. It's not seen much play, it's not seen much love. We'll get to the attack in a minute, but all I need to say for the time being, just as a little bit of a tease, I believe this has a better attack than Donphan. It is a stage 2 rather than a stage 1, but I think from an attacking standpoint, I like it a lot more. And you know that it pains me to say that, given the whole my immortal love for Donphan thing. If anyone's wondering, there was one other Pokemon that had this ability actually called Sturdy, and it was the Crustle that came around in Boundaries Crossed. But really, this goes back to Focus Band back in the Neo sets. In Neo Genesis, in fact. Focus Band, now it was a Pokemon tool, one of the very first Pokemon tools. And if it was attached to a Pokemon that would be knocked out, you flipped a coin. If heads it wasn't knocked out, it became 10 instead. So we've been seeing this for a while. It's a good ability. What we really need is to be able to heal, and that's the goal here. Get hit for 160, heal up entirely. Well, we've got Mallow and Lana, that will heal 120. We've got Indeed EV, that will go and heal you 20. We've got a bunch of item cards, but honestly, that Milotic I showed you yesterday comes in really handy here, because Milotic once during a turn lets you heal 20 from each of your Pokemon. So 2 Milotic and a Mallow and Lana, you heal up entirely. Bearing in mind, we've got stuff around at the moment like Power Pad that will allow you to use Mallow and Lana turn after turn after turn. Though remember, right, if you're going to be using Mallow and Lana as your supporter to heal, you're going to need some kind of Pokemon draw. You're going to need something along the lines of Cinccino so that you can afford to use your supporter for the turn to heal while you're using a Pokemon to draw. That's fairly important. The point is, we've got a bunch of options. If you're willing to get rid of energy, Hyper Potion becomes a hyper good option because it heals 120, but it makes you discard 2 energy from the Pokemon, which is going to be difficult to do. If you really want to try and get a little bit fancy, we did get Suspicious Can revealed a couple of days ago. Now, what you got to do is basically discard a Psychic Energy from the Pokemon to heal 80 damage. No Psychic Energy, no healing. Doable? Awkward, I think is fair to say. Pretty gosh darned awkward. Now, as for the attack, I've said I like it a lot more, and I do. There's no translation needs to be done here, though at this stage I should give a massive shout out to the lovely Antoine Boulet for providing our translation. And it just does 160 for a Metal Treble Colourless. And the energy cost here is extremely important. That's what makes this viable. There are basically 3-4 things we've got here. You can count manual attachment if you like. We've then got Metal Saucer that accelerates the metal energy from your discard to it. We've got Triple Acceleration Energy, which is free colourless energy, but you have to discard it at the end of your turn. Or we've got Twin Energy, that is 2 colourless energy, and it does not get discarded at the end of your turn. So this could be a Twin Energy double Metal Saucer, or a Twin Energy Metal Saucer attached for the turn, or a Triple Acceleration Energy attached for the turn, or a Triple Acceleration Energy Metal Saucer, or 3 Metal Saucer attached for the turn if you really want to go a bit silly. Heck, you could even do 4 Metal Saucer, though I might suggest that's going a little bit over the top. The point is, although this looks like a very expensive attack, it is actually a very payable attack. Yes, sure, we could talk about the Magnezone that lets you attach as much energy as you like during your turn, but we don't want to go double stage 2s, and I honestly don't think that's the best way to go here. We've got options for Metal Pokemon, and incidentally, Metal Saucer, Twin Energy, Triple Acceleration, they're all going to survive the rotation. We're going to have them. Really, the only problem with Aggron, and I say only problem, it is a fairly significant problem, becomes how are we going to be consistent here? Because we've got a stage 2. And although the attack cost is payable, it's awkward. You still need to have your Triple Acceleration Energy and your Metal Saucer with a Metal Energy and a discard. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm saying that if you're playing a basic Pokemon with this attack cost, you can probably work it out a bit more easily, though don't use Triple Acceleration for obvious reasons. But the fact that it's a stage 2 and you've got to muck about a bit with the energy, that does give me pause for thought. It is going to be a little bit slow. But then again, stage 2s are way better nowadays. We've got stuff like Rosa, lets you search for an energy, a trainer, and a Pokemon. Like, for instance, a Metal Energy, an Aggron, and a Rare Candy, for argument's sake. It absolutely, if you had a Pokemon KO the previous turn, which in a single prize deck you're going to have had. I really like this. Now, I've been suckered in by Aggron before. I know it, you know it, if you've seen a bunch of my videos. I've been suckered in by Aggron before. I just think it's good. I think this is going to be a good card. I think it is a non-GX that has a chance. I'm not saying it's phenomenal and stunning. I'm saying it's got a chance. I'm saying that 160 damage is big. It's not going to KO a huge amount of stuff. Even something like Dedenne that at a glance looks like it KOs has actually got resistance, so will survive. Unless you take away the resistance, which kind of sucks. You're not getting many big KOs. This is basically single prize Pokemon 1-hit KO, 2 or 3 prize Pokemon 2-hit KO. But that's okay. In a format where you're giving up 1 prize and you're not getting 1-hit KO'd, I'm kind of alright with this. Now, I suppose we should add a little appendix at the end here. If your opponent's doing any kind of cheeky damage, like for instance using Roxy while discarding something like Weezing to do 1 damage to each of your Pokemon, or dropping a Galarian Zigzagoon, bearing in mind all of this can be done on your opponent's turn, this ability doesn't work. This ability only works if you've got full HP, so if your opponent damages you and then immediately goes for the KO, they will get the 1-hit KO. And that's possible, but come on, it's not exactly going to be an easy thing to do all the time. I think a lot of the time you'll probably get away with it. I'm giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. It's a stage 2, it's a lot of energy, but you can't get 1-hit KO'd, and we've got ways to work around the energy, and I'm saying that that's good enough for me. But I'd like to know how you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome regardless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.